Good evening and welcome to Midnight Movie Club and my breakdown of our second trailer for The Lighthouse. Now just a heads up, just like my first trailer breakdown for The Lighthouse, it probably won't be as much of a breakdown, more of just me saying this looks awesome, this is really cool, and I don't know what this is, but I want to know more. It's just like everyone else, I don't know too much about the film and can't decipher much from the trailers. All I can guess is that this is a hallucinatory, cabin fever shivering tale of two lighthouse keepers on a mysterious island in the 1800s. It looks like a Lovecraft novel brought to life for me, and I can't wait to see what it is all about. But without any more chat, let's take a look at what this new trailer has showed us. It kicks off with Ephraim having a smoke while walking up to the lighthouse, and I just have to say the lighting here is fantastic. As we see the light come round and illuminate Ephraim, we can see the shadow of a body within it. We also hear Ephraim ask, "What made your last keeper leave?" To which Thomas responds, he believed that there was some enchantment in the light. Lovely little bit of foreshadowing there. Possibly Thomas himself will soon come to believe that there is enchantment in the light, or he already does. And the previous keeper did not leave. Thomas in fact just got rid of him, or offered him to some sort of celestial being. That's just one of my theories on what could be going on in the film anyway. Moving on to the next, and the next shot is an awesome one. We see the lighthouse in all of its glory with a man stood at its top as if he is worshipping it. After that we get brought into what I think is Thomas's and Ephraim's sleeping quarters, where we get a fantastic and crazy exchange throughout the rest of the trailer. Thomas says that the previous keeper went mad, so maybe that was him we seen atop the lighthouse praising the light that he thinks is enchanted. Ephraim though isn't impressed, but as he brushes off Thomas's story, he says, "Tall tales." To which Thomas responds, "What?" The very first what of many within this trailer. Ephraim just glares at him, and here we just get a real sense of that cabin fever and hatred for one another starting to seep its way in. I also just want to mention at this point the sound design is sounding brilliant, the creaks and groans of the lighthouse and the constant rain pouring down. It gives the lighthouse this cosy feel, but at the same time one that feels mystical and dangerous. So this next part of the trailer is where the game of who can say what the most really begins, as Thomas sits up in his bed looking down at Ephraim drinking on the floor, and as I mentioned with the sound design, the music is sounding fantastic as well. It has cymbal-like crashes in it that almost sound like Ephraim and Thomas's cups being crashed against tables, possibly mimicking their madness when they start smashing shit up. Along with this we have the crashes of the ocean on the rocks, and it just sets up brilliantly that feeling of unpredictable, isolated madness. Now following this shot of the two, we get some shots we have seen before with things critics have said about the film, praising it layered over the top, so I won't go into them as there isn't too much to break down, but it sounds like people are loving the performances along with the dark comedic yet mystical thriller vibe. We do get a couple of interesting shots during these quick cuts here though, one that looks like Thomas is undressing in front of the light. Maybe what I said is coming true, maybe he's the one that believes in its enchantment, or it is just starting to take hold of him now. The other very interesting shot is one of Ephraim staring up at something, and this may not be what he is looking at and just smart editing, but the shot after we see the tentacles once again, or just a tentacle, as it slinks along above what looks like a grated drain or something. One thing I'm really looking forward to seeing is what these tentacles have to do with the film along with the mermaid. Maybe they are hallucinations, or maybe they are real tangible things that factor in. Maybe they are part of the enchanted light and are conjured by it. We also get a cool looking shot of the lighthouse's spiral staircase, then Ephraim going crazy as a leak pours down from in front of him, just before we then see Thomas doing some sort of jig and then standing with no shirt on in the rain. We can also make out a ship tattoo on his chest. I have no idea what significance a tattoo like that holds, but if you know if it means anything, then let me know in the comment section down below. We then see Ephraim and Thomas becoming increasingly frustrated with one another, screaming what more and more, just before we see Ephraim bring down an axe, maybe onto the tentacles, or even Thomas. The next shot though is one we can speculate a bit deeper on, as we see a head in a crab basket. It doesn't look like Ephraim or Thomas, so is that the previous keeper that Thomas was talking about? The one that went mad? I'm seriously thinking Thomas is the one that went mad and believes the light to be enchanted, and he killed the previous keep, and slowly Ephraim will begin to piece it together that Thomas may do the same thing to him, having to, in the end, fight off both the celestial forces of the island and Thomas, who is maddened by them. The trailer then comes to its climax with Thomas throwing his cup at Ephraim, shouting, "Damn ye, let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow." Winslow is Ephraim's second name, just before he yells out, and we see the lighthouse once more with the waves crashing off of it. Then, after all that madness, Ephraim just sits in the corner and calmly says, "Alright then, have it your way." Honestly, I don't know what to expect at all with this film after watching both trailers numerous times, and that's a real good thing, I still reckon I might be onto something though when I say Thomas is the one who has gone mad and has killed the previous keeper. Also, I think that light may well be enchanted and have something to do with these mystical creatures coming to the island. But everything so far looks good. The performances, the dialogue, the set costume and sound design, the practical effects and the score. I just cannot wait for this film to release now. So let me know in the comments your theories and what might be going on in the Lighthouse, and if you enjoyed this video then give it a wee like. Also, if you haven't already then press subscribe to join the club, and as always, thank you very much for watching and good night.